That and more is our panel. Anna Kasparian is back. She's a host and executive producer of The Young Turks. Go to tytnetwork.com to watch. Fun fact, Anna is married to baseball player, model, and actor Christian Lopez. Fellow Young Turk Cenk Uygur officiated the wedding. John Thomas is a Republican political strategist, KFI commentator, host of the Thomas Guide show. His company, Thomas Partner Strategies, just opened up an office in Newport Beach. Congratulations as it gears up for 2020. Carson Jones, who is the first zookeeper/gay rights activist to appear on the TV show. Carson has worked with animals in Australia, Birmingham, and Denver. He found himself thrust into the national political conversation when his dad, Doug Jones, ran against and defeated the Judge Roy Moore for U.S. Senator from Alabama. He's in town for the premiere of a powerful new documentary titled 5B, which tells the story of America's first hospital ward for AIDS patient. That premieres in theaters on June 14th. Welcome to you all. Good to have you here. So let's start by talking about the 2020 race. We talked to Cory Booker. What was your take on that?
Cory Booker is going to have a difficult time standing out from the rest of the candidates, especially at a time when the issue of income inequity and climate change is really at the forefront of what Democratic voters want to focus on. His pet issue seems to be gun control, which is important. I'm not trying to take that away. But I think when you're differentiating Cory Booker with other Democratic candidates, that issue might not really, rise to the top of the priorities.
Although it certainly got a great reaction at the California convention. Where do you see the race right now, John?
Cory has a good chunk of work to do. I think the race right now really is Biden is at his peak. I think he's only going to fall. The question is, how fast does he fall? I don't see him getting the nomination. I think Sanders and Warren I'm watching very closely because they're talented candidates. They have base of support. Booker is going all in on Iowa with a firewall in South Carolina. Booker's challenge is he doesn't score big points with big speeches. He's not a great television politician, but he's a good retail politician. So if he can win one room at a time and pull an upset in Iowa, he could get in this, but that's a really tough thing to do.
Carson, we know your dad has endorsed Joe Biden. You haven't endorsed anybody yet. It's a lot of candidates out there. Where do you see the race?
Yeah, there's a lot of candidates, and I think that I'm excited to see debates happen and a lively discussion about where we are on each of these issues and what each of these candidates are gonna do for people in America. We really need to hear from them about what their specific plans are so that we can figure out who the strongest candidate moving forward is.
Well, one thing it's not too early to do is to try to fix homelessness in this state because it continues to be a horrible problem. This week, the news even worse. Katie Hill saying that this is proof, though, that Democratic policies are working on homelessness. What do you make of that, John?
I took a lot of gall for her to say what she said on your interview. Proof that it's working when millions and millions of dollars are being spent and homelessness is skyrocketing in LA County, what, 16% or 14%? That is disastrous. The issue is it's not just housing. You have to look at disastrous liberal policies in this state that cost of housing, and it's not just that. It's cost of living, gas taxes, sales taxes, all of that in the aggregate. There was an analysis done by the LA Times that said in order just to afford housing in LA County, the average person needs to earn $42 an hour. Well, that has to come down, and that means reduce regulatory burden, reduce taxes, but the sad part is I don't see that happening anytime soon.
We're having these developers come in, knock down affordable housing, and then build these luxury condos that people can't afford. And at the same time, we're allowing foreign investment into our housing market. And these are individuals who have no interest in actually living here. They're, in some cases, laundering money in U.S. property, and they're artificially inflating the value of property here in the U.S.
You have a bunch of empty condos in downtown Los Angeles
That's
right now because of that. So that problem continues. Meanwhile, the reason to celebrate this weekend, though, Gay Pride, it's Gay Pride Month, and it's being celebrated in West Hollywood this weekend. What does Gay Pride mean to you? I want to go around the table. Anna, we'll start with you.
For me, it means living your life authentically and being unafraid to be yourself.
I mean, the Republican in me thinks it's great to have liberty and freedom to choose. So it's great that, for a celebration. And I'm actually happy to see that I think this issue, by and large, is behind us. It's something you can't forget. But I think the country as a whole is moving past this, and both parties seem to be embracing the freedom to choose.
Carson?
I think that this month is a great opportunity to look back at history and see how far our community has come. I think it's a great opportunity to be visible for people who may be struggling with their sexuality or may need that community. And it's also a good opportunity to look forward at where the areas of concern still are and what we can all do together to kind of fix those. As you move across the country, discrimination laws are completely different from state to state. So things like that can be really helpful to make sure that we are giving people the support that they need.
Yeah, and you will be out this weekend showcasing some of that support as well.
Absolutely.
It's good to have all of you here. And speaking of pride, there isn't anyone more proud, perhaps, than Elton John, right? So we're going to listen to some music from Rocket Man. This is Taron Egerton singing. And speaking of good listens, check out a special podcast with Carson Jones about his very unique life story. In fact, you can listen to all of our past shows in digital extras in podcast form. Just search for The Issue Is wherever you stream. Up next, Patricia Arquette is here, but first, let's rock out a little. Let's see. Any good moves you've got?
No.
Don't have the moves.
No moves? Oh my God. We need to bring Gloria Allred back on Saturday. Come on.
Did you think he was done? Think again. Tiger returns to Pebble Beach for the U.S. Open Championship next Thursday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
Look at this Western Bacon Cheeseburger from Carl's Jr. Tangy barbecue sauce,